Hey guys, back in the garage today with my 2006 Ford Taurus, and I'm going to show you how to change the valve cover gaskets. I'm more interested in taking a peek under the Bank 1 valve cover because I'm pretty sure that we have some valve train damage in there, and honestly, I really hope it's a broken valve spring. Let's go ahead and let's get into it.
So every good automotive repair video starts with disconnecting the negative battery terminal. Now we can go ahead and move on to the snorkel here. Start by disconnecting these two hoses that come out of the side down at the bottom. And then from here all you need is a flathead screwdriver to remove the two hose clamps, and then this thing just kind of pulls right off.
Okay, so now we're going to work on lines, connectors, and hoses. We have two connectors, one right here. We have another wire connector down here. We're also going to be removing this hose, and there's one up under here. That one as well. We're also going to take the hose right here that comes off of the PVC valve. We're going to take that off too. So there's one, probably, I know this one comes off really easy on mine, yeah. Usually, there we go, yeah. Kind of wrap it down there just to get it out of the way. Use a screwdriver to push it in and then just kind of pull that off like that. While we're here, we're going to grab this, which this actually came from the PVC. For now, we'll just kind of let that go there. All right, so then there's this one, and it's just kind of pushing right there. All right, now we're gonna do this one up here. Just pull it up like that, and you can just kind of, there you go. For now, we will actually end up taking that completely off here in a minute. All right, so for now, we just kind of spun that out of the way. Okay, all right, so this is a swivel, but you don't really need a swivel, as you can see. There we go. All right, so now that makes it very easy, and we don't really have to disconnect this now. The whole thing, once we take it up, is just gonna kind of like come and set over there. All right, now we're just going to use a standard, it doesn't even have to be a swivel head, but just a standard 3/8 ratchet with a 10mm to get this PVC valve. What you wanna do is just kind of stick your wrench down there, make sure it's on off. It's going the right way. All right, and then just, it looks a little weird, but really not that bad. So this is all gonna come off real easy. And then there's another one on the other side. It's gonna be really hard to film. Kind of see it. You can just get a deep socket on there and it works just fine. A stubby wrench might help in this case as well. There we go. Those are kind of hard to get out. All right, so I did kind of forget. There's this harness. You can see the bottom of the Christmas tree. That actually has to come out. You can just get a screwdriver in there. You can actually get to it from right there and kind of pry it up. All right, so all that is done. We're gonna move our way around this way and remove this bracket, take these off the injectors. We're gonna get this out of here. And I think there's connectors. Yep, there's connectors back there we gotta get. Okay, so we got this one, and that one. I'm not even sure if that one needs to come out. This can just kind of come under here. We got a couple of 8s. There's also a double hose connector on there that we will get off. You just pull them off. Giggity. But you want to be careful with every single one of these connections, especially these hoses and all of these plastic pieces. They get brittle and they break, like really, really bad. So now I think we have this here, which is one of the double ones. Comes up to this one, might as well take it off. And then see, now we have this whole little thing, which is kind of, yeah, it goes like that. You'll see when we go back with it. These connectors back yonder. There's one right back here. While we're here, we're gonna get this. Get that out of there. Just the same one as, you know, the other one. Okay, now we've got, I believe, is there only 4 holding this up now? These are 8mm, and you're gonna need, or they might be 10s. Those are 10s. All right, so I'm pretty sure it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and this should come up. Okay, the 2 on the top are 10s, and the 2 on the bottom are 8s. I feel like there's another hose I'm missing, but we'll see once I start to pull it up. And don't forget, this has a little sensor on it. Don't forget putting that back in. I'm going to move that sensor out of the way just to clear up some room. Those are 5.5s, or they're 7s. They're 7s. Where we go again? Might not be that easy. Oh, because it's a plug. Duh. Fuel pressure regulator, something. Sensor. Fuel pressure sensor. All right, and yeah, see, it just kind of swings out of the way like that. Now we have all the access in the world to that rear valve cover. You're gonna want to cover up those ports. Over here, you do have to take off this connector and then the 3 injectors, and that will give you enough room to kind of pull this forward this way, and then you can get down to the bolts down there. And this is going to be, those are 8mm. I think they might be 7s. I think they're 8s, but I believe there is 8 or 10 of them. Okay, and I did just notice that this coolant hose right here kind of goes around all the way up to the reservoir. So that's definitely going to give us, you know, the room that we need, because I didn't notice, but it goes right over the valve cover. Once you get that off, just kind of take your pliers and do that, and then you can just pull them right off. All right, I just kind of got it going up there. You know what, let's just go ahead and remove that. This just spins out. It's PVC. So all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the bolts out, and we're gonna take a peek. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm kind of leaving the gasket because I have it siliconed in a certain spot that you're supposed to have it siliconed, and I don't want to like rip anything. Well, I guess I can get to the silicone right here and peel it out, because I'm trying not to mess up these head or valve cover gaskets, because I just did them.
Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the coil pack. It's just 3 bolts to remove it, and then you can kind of take it and move it down to the side. I've actually marked which of the wires go to which cylinders, then just remove the connector before actually removing it. Now we can take our spark plug wires and kind of move them over to the side just to give us a little bit more room. You're also going to want to pull up on the harness over here on the left side just to expose the bolts. And then you're going to want to kind of follow suit on the other side. From here we can just kind of take the rest of the harness and move it up and out of the way. Now that we have access to all the bolts, we're going to go ahead and remove them. But this bottom left one, you can't really get to with a socket. You're going to have to use a wrench. Also, you'll notice the black hose on the side that goes into the top of the valve cover. I suggest not even removing that because they break very easily. Now you can just kind of go ahead and pull it out, but kind of be careful and mindful of your gasket.
Alright, so now on both sides, you're going to actually want to clean up this area where the valve cover is going to go back on. I'm going to take a scraper and get this silicone over here, and you're going to want to do this. And as well, I'm just going to kind of scrape all the way around the parameter of where it went. And then we're going to finish off with either a brush or maybe even some Scotch-Brite. And of course, when you're doing this, like I said, you're making a lot of debris fall down in there. You kind of want to minimize that as much and kind of push it up and out. All right, so with the valve covers off, I was able to take this opportunity to actually inspect the valve springs. That's what I was hoping that noise was. I went ahead and I pulled the rockers, pulled the push rods, everything like that, checked out everything. Everything totally looked fine. There was no breaks in the springs. The rockers looked fine. The push rods were straight as an arrow. There was no like weird marks on anything. That kind of rules that out. Actually, I'm going to kind of look at that as a silver lining. Now I know that, you know, there's really nothing that I can see that is wrong up on top the valve train for either bank 1 or bank 2. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep going with the valve cover replacement. All right, so before I pop these on, I actually kind of wanted to show you, these are only about a couple months old, these valve covers, and these are the new ones. We're going to kind of compare them next to each other. And these have, you know, only been ran not that much. And what they do is they kind of expand. So you can kind of see here just how much like off they are. See, it kind of lines up down there, and then when you get down there, it's way off. Same thing with down here. See, off by that one. And then you kind of look at the new one. See, so what they do is they swell when they hit a couple heat cycles, and I don't know if that's by design so that they kind of seal better, but in any event, that's why I had to get new ones. Okay, so now when you go to put these on, what you'll actually notice is when you push these in and you actually kind of push your bolt up, there's going to be a little tiny lip in here that's actually going to hold on to the gasket. Here, let me get it and I'll show you. Alright, so if you can see a little bit like that, see, it'll actually kind of hold it in there. Then just go around and then do them all like that. You just kind of want to go all the way around and make sure that it's completely in. There's a little channel going all the way around. You can feel it when you press it in, when it's in there. But you also want to make sure that around these little circles here that it's actually pressed in and completely seated all the way around. That's why cleaning off the mating surface right here of the valve cover is like paramount, because you do not want this to like be falling off as you're going to put it back on there. Alright, so I'm going to take some Lucas and we're just going to kind of squeeze it all over these rockers here just to get a little bit of lubrication and kind of help out the top end. Alright, and so now a very, very, very important part right here. This is actually the upper or the lower intake manifold, and then this is the head. You're going to see that little line right there. You're going to want to put a little bead. That's probably even too much, way too much. That's way too much, probably about half that much on there on both sides, and you're going to want to do it on the other side as well. Okay, something like that. You can kind of see it over there. I don't know if we're going to be able to see it, but right here and through there. And we're going to put the front one on first, just so I'm not knocking a bunch of stuff in there. I already put some Lucas and we got our silicone on there. Now you're going to want to kind of move this over to the left, and then you just really want this to go down super easy. Kind of line it up just like that. There we go. Just got to kind of be careful. That's the reason why I like to put the silicone on the engine and not on the gasket. Right, now we'll just tighten those down, but make sure that your gasket is actually inside its parameter where it needs to go. Alright, I'm using my built-in torque wrench, but you're going to want to check out the torque specs and the tightening sequence on this. Yeah, I also wanted to get a look in here at this. It's a pipe slash hose that actually runs coolant through your system and into your heater core, which is down there. Also, if you're wanting to do a heater core or if you're wanting to replace this, this is very good. You don't have to take the valve cover off, but if you do this, you get a lot more room, but I just kind of wanted to take a look and see how that was doing. And as you can see, it's not doing well at all. That should be black, not brown. But in the wise words of wisdom from my sensei, Derek Barry, we're going to go ahead and do the right thing here and rebuild on it while we're here. It looks like a piece of a model that you would put together and you use that silver paint. Rebuilt. So this one we're gonna wanna kinda hop up here. Makes it a lot easier. All right, now we're just kinda following suit on this one. All right, so with the valve covers on, you're gonna kind of get excited. If you're like me, what you don't want to do is kind of just go ahead and hurry up to putting the intake back on. There's a couple of things we got to remember to put back that will kind of be going underneath it. So what I've done here is I've actually connected back the fuel injectors. This is still so we can take it out, so that's still unplugged. Other than that, I think it was just those three. Put our little wire holders back in. I think there's one up here. So now we got to remember to take our, this is an EGR sensor, that's going to go back over there, and then we also have this coolant hose over here that is going to have to go back and then back onto where it connects down there on the thermostat housing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and what else? I think that's for this step just about it. But yep. Okay, so there we go. That actually goes up like that. There's a little thing there that holds that onto there and then over. And what was the other thing we did? Oh yeah. As you can see, there's a little Christmas tree on here. I think that actually goes to the back of the, what is that called? The intake, upper intake manifold. That chrome's gonna get us home. No, actually that chrome's probably gonna be the reason one day why we won't get home. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put those bolts in. All right, so we went ahead and hooked up, I think we already did that on the last one. Don't forget that sensor. While we were over here, go ahead and put that back in. Okay, so we can't forget our PCV, PVC, that's backwards. Our PCV, PVC, PCV made out of PVC valve. Okay. All right, now I went ahead and put this back on. We still got to get that whole hose assembly back on here. That's tight. We got to get the hoses. Yep. Okay, so for these hoses, there's this one, the double one. You start with that, and then the one that kind of goes around, you put it up under it. It goes right there, and then kind of up under that one, up to the PVC. And then the other side goes from there to up there, and then there's one that comes back to there. And we got that, the large one right there. Connected, it goes into that little clip right there and then goes to that. All of these just literally push in. Let's see what we're missing. Yeah, let's keep going. Oh, we've also got this connector back here. Don't forget that one. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the coil pack back up there. Okay, just kind of had that hanging out, but yeah, we connected that. I put the coil pack back on and put my wires back on. This can actually kind of run under there, twist it, and that's going to go to the snorkel. But so now what we're going to do is, don't forget your EGR. And I had to take mine loose because I painted that awesome thing back there, so I got to get, let's see if I can get down in there to show you. I have to get a wrench back here to get, yep, there you can see that bolt down there. It's not really hard because you can actually, I can get my whole hand through there with an adjustable wrench. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, I did not have a gasket for that. O'Reilly's wanted like $200 for a PCV valve, or I'm sorry, EGR valve. O'Reilly's wanted like 200 bucks. I just ordered one online for like 30. It didn't come with a gasket, but I'm gonna use some of this high temp red RTV silicone like I did before. It should work fine. And so yeah, I'm gonna tighten that and then hook that back up. You don't need to see all that. We'll just kind of, actually, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and button it up. Tighten that up, get the snorkel back on, and if there's anything major that I feel you should know, I'll let you know. But yeah. Okay, so got everything back together. Snorkel. One thing I forgot to mention was the bolt that holds, you know, the whole intake under there. That wasn't too bad. Yeah, but everything from here you should be able to remember pretty good. You just want to not move too far ahead. When you get one piece back on, kind of just take a look around and try to remember, you know, what you have already taken off, and because you don't want to have to take something back off or fish it through. But everything I could see is looking good. Let me know in the comments if you see anything that I missed. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's all good. But all right, so we have good news, bad news, more bad news, and then a miracle. Good news is you have just learned how to change valve covers. Well, first bad news is for some reason my mic stopped working. We're doing the internal microphone on this camera, so I'm not really sure how this is going to sound with the room and everything. But anyways, I digress. The other bad news is the tick is very much still there. Or, well, I should say the tick very much was still there. I started it up, turned it on, I put Lucas in it just because I figured out it wasn't the top end. I figured it might be the bottom end and was still trying to diagnose it. So I did that. It was at night. I put it in and didn't really drive the car. Well, in the morning, I went and drove the car, and just up into town, I went to McDonald's and got some breakfast. And I ordered my meal through the drive-thru at the speaker. As I kind of went up to turn to go around the little curb there, the car kind of, for about 2 seconds, 2 to 3 seconds, started to just felt like it was going to die. It wasn't really chugging or anything, but it just completely almost stopped running. And then it just kind of came out of it. It stopped ticking, it stopped tapping, it stopped doing everything. And it's completely normal now. Actually, here I'll show you a clip of it running. So I'm not really sure. I have a couple other ideas, been running it over, been kind of going over it with a friend who is very smart with these things, and kind of maybe have a couple other ideas of what it is. But until then, if I do figure out what it was, you know, I'll do a video on it. But until then, like always, there's going to be a video or a playlist up here for car audio or home audio, either or, and then there's going to be another one up here, which is going to be a video or a playlist for automotive repair, stuff like that. We got a lot more automotive repair coming up, and I'm actually kind of in a position now to where I feel more comfortable recording auto repair and things like that, which I never really had the proper place to or do it properly before. Never really had the means to. But yeah, so a lot of that's coming up. But in any event, hope that helped you guys out very much. Please consider subscribing and liking. You don't really have to like. I really only ask for 2 things. Subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. Another thing is to comment if you have any questions or just engage with us in any ways. Well, liking is engaging too as well. But anyways, I'm definitely kind of rambling on this one. It's been long enough anyways. Just, yep. Check out the videos up there, and thank you so much, and have a good one. And hopefully we won't see you soon back with the Taurus, but I don't know, maybe we will. And yeah, love you.